Good evening. I hope everybody's had a decent weekend. Tell you what, I've probably been a little more tense now than I have in quite some time. We got a lot of stuff to cover tonight. We're going to cover what's going on with the Truckers for Freedom. We're going to cover a little bit going on with COVID. And I've got a ton to cover when it comes to conflict. Before we get to that, I have to address something. And I don't get mad often. And I need to put out the disclaimer that there could be a word or two that are not children safe tonight. At least during this first part, because I'm pissed. Extremely. I don't like it when people carelessly throw other people's children's lives around like they're nothing but matchsticks. It frustrates me. It frustrates me when people doubt the word, especially people that proclaim to be following it so closely, but clearly don't believe it. And that makes me upset. Things like that really piss me off. I watched a unlisted live stream on YouTube earlier. And the reason why I'm even addressing this is because I'm sure that many people that watch this channel probably watch Bear Independent. And I would say a fair amount of you that watch this channel and watch Bear Independent probably is also subscribed to him on Patreon. So if you fall in that category, then you've probably seen the live stream earlier today. And there was something that was very bothersome to me. The ignorance, for one. As you know, there's a building conflict going on with Ukraine. And, you know, part of what he does is really good. The other part of it is just nothing but ego and bullshit. And that's the part that I want to address. This conflict is absolutely coming. And in fact, there were moves that happened today, which we'll be getting into, that solidify it. And there was such an ego today about how, we'll just kick their ass. Well, let me tell you what. When you're ready to put your kids on that front line, then tell me about how we are going to kick their ass. And when you're ready to pay attention to what the very book is that you peddle on your own website. Because this book, the book that I believe and you clearly do not, says we don't win this war. When you're ready to put your kids on that front line, then you talk your shit. Man, at one time, the United States was a great nation that had the world in its hands. We are not that nation today. I'll be 50 years old in May. And we are at the weakest state that we have ever been during those 50 years. We are the most technologically disadvantaged that we have ever been in those 50 years. Now we can wave flags and we can throw egos around, but it's people's kids that's going to be dying. I don't have the opportunity to keep my children safe. And neither do a whole lot of other people. I have a feeling that we're going to see conflict on our own soil, right here at home. But right in here, I mean, don't you even believe the word? You say you do. You say you follow Yeshua and Yahweh. Don't you believe what it says? We don't win this one. Who do you think Babylon is? Canada? The UK? We don't win this one. As much as I would love to have that ego and pride and wave the American flag, I believe God more than I believe Trump or any other politician in this country or any other general or anyone. This has been prophesied for thousands and thousands of years. And I have watched over the period of, say, the last, I don't know, I'll say 10 years. I have watched puzzle piece after puzzle piece lock into place. Yeah, 10 years. 2012 was when I watched that first puzzle piece lock into place. It's time. And we don't win this. It's time to grow up. It's time to address things as they are, not how we would like them to be. Because people's lives, people's children's lives, are at stake here. It's not going to be good. I apologize. It just angers me when somebody claims to profess the word and they don't even believe the same word that they profess. I had said it before. And I'm not saying this is 100% the case every single time. No, it's not an absolute. But almost every time that I have seen in my life that somebody can sit there and recite that book without it being in front of them, they have no idea how to follow it. They have no idea how to understand it. And then here you got somebody like me that's lucky to be able to remember a single verse by memory, which is odd because I've got just this absolutely insane memory when it comes to, when I read something, I remember it. It's unbelievable the stuff I remember. But for some reason, I can't memorize the Bible. But I understand what it says. And I ran into a number of people that can't recite it, but understand what it is. And at the same time, I've ran into a number of people that can recite it and don't have a clue. They just don't get it. Doesn't make any sense to me, but I trust him. I trust his plan. I mean, it gets me so much that you wouldn't believe the amount of Bible, and I'm going to buy more Bibles. I'm not done buying Bibles. I've got plenty more I want to buy. I want to buy a ton of different versions of them. I want to have waterproof copies. Why? Because I can't remember the scripture verbatim. And it's that important to me. You wouldn't believe the amount of Bibles that I have on my phone, on my computer. Tons. Because I want that word. Because I can't memorize that scripture. Part of me, and I know we're not supposed to do this, but part of me is jealous. Part of me envies people that can remember it like that. But there isn't one single hair on my body that envies the inability to understand it and to truly follow it. It goes more than just wearing tzitzit. It goes much further than just going through the motions. Much further. So anyway, I'll do my best to get off of that. I'm a bit fired up, and I apologize for that. I just don't like to flippantly put other people's children in harm's way. It just, to me, it's just insane. But hey, I guess it's good for the subscriber count, huh? Got to choose one, man. You going to serve man or you going to serve the Father? Choose one. Can't pick both. You can't do half of one, half the other. No, you have to choose one. And then when you do, you'll be persecuted. You won't have all the fanfare. You won't have all the following. Choose one. I did. I'm just a scumbag, right? So anyway, I guess we'll move on. Again, I apologize. I'm fired up over it. All day, I've been fuming over it. So what you're looking at, and I'm going to go ahead and refresh it just in case. I'm sure there's other stuff that's come out. There have been a multitude. I'm talking now about the Truckers for Freedom that's going on up in Canada. It's been a bit of an emotional day, and I don't get emotional. People that have been around here know I don't get emotional. Things don't typically pull me one way or another and all that stuff. But it's been kind of an emotional weekend for me. It started out with me being absolutely elated that I do believe I helped a brother out and find a home, and I'm so excited for him. I mean, I was giddy like a teenager on their first date. Seriously, because it's hard right now to it's hard to buy a home. It's hard to rent a home, you know. And there's three of them: him, his wife, and their child. And in this area, it is extremely hard to get anything. I mean, homes are sold before they go on the market. Same with places. Places are rented before they go on the market. In fact, that's the way this case is. It happens to be the same landlord that we have. I just happened to, he mentioned to me that he had a place that was going to be coming open, just in general conversation. And I real quick jumped in and said, hey, I got a buddy. And I was just elated. And so I'm still just so happy for him. Can't wait until he gets in there. So we had that, and then like I say, we had the ordeal with the live stream I watched earlier, which was frustrating. And then I had another emotional moment when I started looking into this Truckers for Freedom thing. Because we hear a lot of this stuff. We hear, I can't tell you the amount of times I've heard, there's going to be a trucker strike, there's going to be a convoy here in the U.S., and really nothing ever comes of it. My back's itching. Really nothing ever comes of it. And, so when I hear stuff like this, you gotta show me. I gotta see it. Well, it's for real. Up in Canada, It's for real. Absolutely. And this is amazing. This is awesome. And the best way that I can tell you to get information on it is go to Twitter and put in hashtag, I've got it up the top here, hashtag Truckers for Freedom. And you will find picture after picture, video after video. I'm going to play a couple here. So, somebody here saying fake news. Hundreds joined truckers' convoy to protest dangerous conditions on BC highways. Oh yeah, no, that's not what it. That's not what it is. That's not why they're. That's why they're saying fake news, because the apparently this news outlet, CBC News SBC, is apparently saying it's because of dangerous conditions on the highways, and no, that's not the reason. Anyway, here's I'm gonna play a few videos here. Here's one. Okay, that was a bit of a short one here. Here's another. I'm just gonna play a few of these. Okay, of course there's an image of trucks going under an overpass that is just lined with people. This is incredible. This is what we need to be doing in this country. I don't get it. Now, I'm not going to say that we're not doing anything, but we're not doing near what they're doing in other countries, and you're going to see that. We're not doing near what they're doing up in Canada right now, and like I say, other countries as well. I don't know what this is going to be. Let's check it out. Oh, it's just a GIF. Okay. But you can go, like I say, hashtag Truckers for Freedom on Twitter, and you will just see all kinds of content, and it just keeps going on and on. 4.6% of the single. I mean, the amount of support that they're getting is just incredible. Which, by the way, watching a couple of these, it reminded me of another point I was going to make, and I'll quit after this. There was a point in Bear's live stream earlier today where he mentioned something about a river and how, we'll just blow the bridge. We'll just blow the bridge, right? Well, you know, there's entire military units that their job, guess what it is? It's to build bridges. I believe the one that the United States has is based out of Florida, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I kind of maybe know a thing or two. And I'm pretty sure that Russia's got them too. And I know the U.S. has the capability within a matter of hours to be able to put up a bridge, say over the Mississippi River, and start moving heavy equipment across it. So, you know, hashtag know a little something. I mean, that's why I'm so. I mean, it's just. I don't know. Anyway, I'll shut up. Oh, I don't want to get nailed with music, so we'll move on. I'll just play a couple more of the videos. I don't want to get in trouble for the music. Let's see, of course, some pictures. That's the truck that I have a picture of for the thumbnail, the one that's got Mandate Freedom on the front of it. This is one here that I've been seeing quite a bit today. It says, "My rights don't end where your fears begin, no mandates." Oh, yeah, what was that one that lady was saying, or the news was saying, that this was over the roadway conditions? Yeah, it looks like it's over roadway conditions, all right. Anyway, there's, like I say, it's just amazing. One more and I'll quit. And like I say, go to twitter.com and just in the search bar, put in hashtag truckers for freedom and waste an entire day. There is just video after video after video. It's incredible. And from my understanding, there's like several different convoys that are going to converge and meet. I can't remember if it's. I can't remember exactly where they're heading. If it's Ottawa or I can't remember what it was. So just go and, like I say, look at the pictures, the videos. There's just tons of information about it, and it's amazing how they have came together. Now, they're not the only ones that's raising a little bit of hell. That's for sure. This is right here, a report coming out of the EU. And as it headline says, anti-lockdown protesters smash EU diplomatic service headquarters. And I'll just read the first couple of paragraphs here. It says, chaotic scenes unfolded on the streets of the Belgian capital Brussels on Sunday as thousands of protesters joined a mass march against COVID-19 health passes and other restrictions introduced by the European governments in the name of combating the pandemic. Videos captured by RT France journalist Charles Baudry showed white-helmeted police officers in riot gear blocking streets with barricades and deploying water cannons to disperse the crowds. All the while, black-clad masked protesters were pelting the police with various projectiles, including planks they had apparently acquired from demolishing a cafe's terrace. So that's what's going on over in Brussels. Now, today we did have an event that happened in Washington, D.C., nothing like this. And we're kind of a little late, but anyway, at least they're getting together, right? That's, I guess, nice. Thousands of anti-vaccine mandate protesters descend on D.C. And I'll just, again, read a few quick paragraphs here. It says, thousands of demonstrators took to the streets of Washington, D.C. on Sunday in protest of COVID-19 vaccine mandates, with protesters calling for an end to medical segregation. Protesters chanted, "My body, my choice, no mandates, and we the people will not comply," as they marched from the Washington Monument to the Lincoln Memorial. The event featured a number of prominent speakers, including former Trump administration health official Dr. Paul Alexander and mRNA, I'll get it right, vaccine researcher Dr. Robert Malone, as well as at least 10 other doctors, and Robert F. Kennedy Jr., the nephew of the 35th U.S. President John F. Kennedy and son of assassinated Attorney General Robert F. Kennedy. So that was interesting. I did watch some of that live today as it was going on. We Are Change was there. News to Share, I believe, was there. There were others there as well. And so I did watch a little bit of that today. You might want to go check out the video We Are Change put up earlier on the events. And it was, I'll tell you what, I really did like what Robert Kennedy Jr. had to say. I really did like what he had to say. He's the only one that I really listened to from start to finish as far as the speakers. But he did a really, really good job today. So, okay, I guess we'll go ahead and we'll continue on with kind of COVID stuff here. And then we'll just get started down the line because I've got a ton for you. It might be a little bit of a longer episode tonight because we've got a ton. So, let's see. Got this one. I'm trying to close that out. Got this one here. Withholding vaccine safety data morally indefensible, medical journal says. Whoa. So, read again, first few paragraphs here. The British Medical Journal has urged public health regulators and pharma majors to immediately release all raw data from the COVID-19 vaccine trials for independent scrutiny, arguing that complete data transparency was a matter of public interest. Absolutely it is. Branding Big Pharma as the least trusted industry, a recent op-ed by BMJ editors stated that it was morally indefensible that this information remains inaccessible to doctors, researchers, and the public despite the global rollout of vaccines and treatments. In the scathing editorial, the writer's senior BMJ editor Peter Doshi, former editor-in-chief Fiona Godley, and her successor Cameron Abbasi accused pharmaceutical companies of reaping vast profits without adequate independent scrutiny of their scientific claims. So you have that going on. And then on the other side of things is this headline, End of COVID Pandemic Plausible, WHO Claims. Weren't we saying that back when Omicron came out and they first started, when South Africa started releasing some of their findings? I believe we were saying that then. It says here the World Health Organization claimed on Sunday that there might finally be an end to the COVID pandemic in Europe after the rapid spread of the Omicron variant. It is plausible that the region is approaching an end to the pandemic, Regional Director Hans Klug told the AFP News Agency. He cautioned that people should still take precautions due to the coronavirus' ability to mutate, but predicted a period of quiet following Omicron. We anticipate there will be a level of quiet before COVID-19 may come back towards the end of the year, but not necessarily the pandemic, he said. So go ahead and I'll read this, probably these two here. Says, Klug said a level of global immunity could be reached for a period of weeks or months because of a combination of the relatively high number of current infections, continued vaccination uptake, and the lowering seasonality aspect of forthcoming northern hemisphere spring. The WHO's Europe region, which covers 53 countries and territories, has seen a spike in Omicron cases like much of the world. In the week ending January 18th, the percentage of new infections from Omicron more than doubled from 6.3% to 15%, according to health officials. So, again, that herd immunity thing is probably, still a thing, and probably going to be what is truly the end of this. And, I can't make any kind of whatsoever claim to try to stick to reading the articles, because otherwise I get spanked by YouTube, and I, maybe one day we'll be able to openly discuss this, but not right now, not while there's profits to be made, right? And I think, I do think it goes further than just profits, but that's just my opinion. All right, now we have an end to that. We can start talking about conflict, and we got a little bit things related to conflict. We got some stuff before we get into the Russia-Ukraine debacle here, and we had been warning about this one for a long time, and there were a lot of different people coming out saying, "Oh, we're not going to weaponize drones. We're not going to weaponize drones." And, they couldn't weaponize them fast enough. So, and obviously they did. I mean, the Predator drone and whatnot's been around for quite a while, but those are a different type of drone. Those are fixed-wing drones that fly very fast and, just a totally different type of drone. These, however, are the and I can't call it a quadcopter because there's not just four props, but these are the type of drones similar to what we have. Mine's just a DJI quadcopter, but this, I guess, has 6. I don't know if this is a Matrice for sure or what. It kind of looks kind of like a Matrice, a DJI Matrice, but I don't know. Anyway, it says here an Israeli company has developed an armed drone system that can fire infantry weapons while flying. The Smash Dragon can strike static and moving targets while hovering above. The next-generation fighting drone was designed by the company Smart Shooter. And that pretty much tells you I don't really need to go into all this, but could you imagine? And this is what I'm saying, There's a lot of people that, again, that whole ego thing gets out of whack, and they're, I'll just grab my bulletproof vest and my AR-15, and I'm gonna go, no, you're not. No, you're not. First of all, your AR-15 isn't going to be very accurate at a drone flying by, 120 knots at, say, maybe 10,000 feet, and, good luck. This is what I'm saying. There's a whole lot of bravado that people want to pass around about what they can do, what their abilities are, and, man, it's a different battlefield. It is a completely different battlefield than what we're used to. University, and you put this anywhere you want, not necessarily directly conflict, but it's shocking to, well, I guess it's not shocking that they would do this, but it's telling. At the very least, it's telling. University finds the novel 1984 offensive and upsetting. Well, yeah, I guess it would be for a certain group of people. Here it says, University of Northampton has issued a harsh warning over potentially offensive and upsetting material contained in the famous dystopia by George Orwell, 1984. The novel, which describes the danger of totalitarian rule and censorship, is now red flagged as it addresses challenging issues related to violence, gender, sexuality, class race, abuses, sexual abuse, political ideas, and offensive language. Of course, it has nothing to do with the construct of the totalitarian rule and censorship. No. The book burning is here. I mean, it's been here for quite a while. And now it's becoming literal. All right, now we're going to move on over to this. I believe this might be included in the headlines that I covered for Friday, I think-ish. But, so we're jumping ahead a little bit here. And as you see the headline, it says, U.S. bomb fragment found in rubble of Yemen airstrike, says reports. And it goes on to say a missile fragment discovered in the debris after Friday's devastating airstrikes by the Saudi-led coalition on the Yemeni city of Sada, and I probably said that wrong, has been identified as having come from a bomb produced by a U.S. weapons manufacturer. The January 21st attack on a migrant detention facility in a Houthi rebel stronghold claimed several dozen lives, including those of a number of children, and prompted UN General Secretary Antonio Guterres to call for an effective and transparent investigation. Video footage filmed in the aftermath of the airstrike by members of the Houthi rebel movement, which is in conflict with the Saudi-backed government and shared on YouTube, shows distressing scenes of rescue workers removing bodies from the rubble. At one point, a fragment allegedly from a lethal weapon used in the raid is shown, with part of its identifying text and numbers visible. It says that's the manufacturer cage code for Raytheon. Mark Garlasco, a military advisor from the Netherlands-based PAX, Protection of Citizens NGO, wrote on Twitter, referring to the U.S. Raytheon Technologies Corporation, one of the world's largest aerospace and intelligence services suppliers. So who knows, what this might bring. I mean, we all knew it anyway. I mean, we knew that we were giving them the weapons to do this stuff. But when you actually have the evidence, and right now we aren't on the same grounds as I was talking about earlier. We're not on the same footing as what we used to be, okay? And one thing Bear did get accurate today. He talked about how the UN has largely been keeping their mouths shut about a lot of this stuff. And I really do think that there is going to be a turning away from the United States, and I think it's going to be pretty large. I really do. There's already a number of countries that have kind of distanced themselves. Germany's been starting to distance themselves and starting to, in some aspects, warm up a little more towards Russia. In some aspects, not all, but it's not looking good. It's not. We've really done a lot of damage diplomatically on the world front. Let's see. Now we're going to be moving to Israel and Palestine here. As you see the headline, it says the last chance before the explosion. And just kind of read a little bit about what this talks about. It says the year 2021 was a bloody one, even by the usually gory standards of the long-running Israel-Palestine conflict. Data from the United Nations shows that violence in the West Bank reached a 5-year peak, with at least 79 Palestinians and 3 Israelis killed in a series of attacks, bombings, and confrontations. In the other Palestinian territory of Gaza, over 230 Palestinians were killed during the devastating 11-day war between Israel and Hamas in May 2021, while 12 people died in Israel, not to mention injuries and losses of property. Last year was the deadliest since 2014 and an ominous sign of what's to come. With no formal peace process underway since talks last broke off over 7 years ago, and frustration and anger building up amid zero hope on the horizon for a lasting diplomatic solution, the situation can be labeled as a tenuous tinderbox that can ignite at any moment in another bout of fighting and clashes. U.S. Special Coordinator for the Middle East Peace Process, Tor Winsland, has warned that if left unaddressed, the festering conflict drivers will drag us into yet another destructive and bloody round of violence. And I would imagine you're going to see that coming because Israel keeps more or less annexing more and more land, and they're building more and more homes. And, I know that a lot of people want to jump on the Israeli side of this, but I ask people to always kind of look at the other side, and I have to ask people what would they think another country coming in and just taking your land. I mean, I think you'd be a little upset. And that's what's happening. People are losing their land just simply because of a claim. And that's what it boils down to. Because of a claim and because of military conflict. Because they don't have a way to fight back with equal force. It's a terrible situation. You know, I'm not one that's going to jump and take sides on this. Absolutely not. Especially just because somebody makes a claim. I mean, kind of seems a bit far-fetched to me. Plus, yeah, I'm not going to get into that. This is also other things happening. The political tension around the world is just insane. And you're starting to see a lot of interesting things happen. Right here, President resigns, citing inability to help his country. Says after nearly 4 years in office, Armenian President Armen Sargsyan, and I'm sure I said that one wrong, announced his early resignation on Sunday. The politician cited the lack of necessary instruments to influence the fundamental processes in internal and foreign politics as one of the major reasons behind his decision. He pointed in particular to the fact that a president in Armenia cannot veto laws he deems unreasonable or influence issues related to war and peace. Sargsyan also decried the fact that the president lacks constitutional instruments to help his country at a time when the world is going through a period of constant turbulence. And I'll read one more here. It says, the presidential office should not become a target for gossips and conspiracies that draw public attention away from the more important issues, Sargsyan said in a statement published on Sunday. He did not elaborate, but went on to describe the present situation in Armenia as a national crisis. So, I mean, I know that that's not directly related to all this other stuff, but this stuff is important to pay attention to. Very important to pay attention to. Now, let me have a sip of coffee because we're going to get on the Russia topic. I got to go to the restroom. This isn't good. Okay, we're going to try. We're going to try to go to the restroom right at this very moment because that would, no. U.S. carrier heads to the surprise NATO war games. And I'll try to run through these quickly. I don't know that you can see them, but I've got a ton of these things up here. And by the way, I was going through getting tabs up. Yeah, you really can't see very well, but yeah, there's a ton of tabs up here. I was getting these tabs open, ready to do the show, and I was like, when I got to yesterday morning, I'm like, I'm done. And I actually wanted to get some of Friday's news in with these tabs because some of them apply. And I had so many tabs up, it's like, nah, I'll be here till midnight. Let's see. It says here, nuclear-powered fleet aircraft carrier USS Harry S. Truman will take part in next week's NATO exercise in the Mediterranean Sea, dubbed Neptune Strike 22, the Pentagon has announced. The 12-day exercise kicks off Monday and is supposed to demonstrate NATO's ability to integrate the high-end maritime strike capabilities of an aircraft carrier strike group to support the deterrence and defense of the alliance, Pentagon spokesman John Kirby told reporters Friday. Well, this was kind of a quick change of heart, as you will, change of orders, I should say, more accurately. And let's not kid ourselves. You'll see as we go along through the headlines here, you'll see a very clear and distinct escalation going on right now. Germany warns of Russian troop concentration. And by the way, I'm going through these in the order that they came out. So, again, sometimes maybe that timeline might be a little mixed up depending on when the reports come out, but it should be pretty much in order. Says here, German Foreign Minister Annalena Baerbock used her first official trip to Moscow earlier this week to question the motives behind a purported buildup of Russian troops close to the frontier with neighboring Ukraine. Speaking on Tuesday at a meeting in Moscow alongside her Russian counterpart Sergei Lavrov, Berlin's top diplomat alleged that large contingent of troops had been sent to the regions around the border with its Eastern European neighbor. She argued it was hard not to see such actions as a threat. In recent weeks, more than 100,000 Russian troops and military equipment have been concentrated near Ukraine for no apparent reason, Baerbock said. It might be Baerbock. I bet it's Baerbock. It says here, countering the allegations of a troop buildup, Lavrov stressed that Moscow would not make concessions for military movements on its own territory, and that Russia has not engaged in any activity which could be seen as the pretext for a conflict to flare up. He also said the Russian side had explained that the escalation is now coming from the mouths of many Western politicians. According to him, the country is merely maintaining our own troops on our own territory and carrying out the necessary combat training measures which all countries do. He added that Russia cannot accept any demands concerning our armed forces on our own soil, which to me sounds a little ridiculous as well. I mean, that would be like Russia telling us that we can't that we can't do military drills near Canada or near Mexico. I mean, I don't get it, right? But anyway, I think Germany, the situation with Germany right now is a bit blurry, because I almost see them playing both sides at the time being. I really do. And it may appear on the surface that they're not really warming up to Russia, but they are. They are. And it's probably a good thing in their minds that they're warming up to Russia, because if they don't, they're probably going to be pretty cold pretty soon, because they need energy. And guess who's got it? That's what it comes down to. Comes down to who's got what that whoever needs. That's what it comes down to. And if their country is in a bad way because they don't have enough fuel, they don't have enough energy for heating and whatnot, you kind of have to do what you can, for your people. And I don't know. I like I said, I think there's a lot going on behind closed doors, and I wouldn't necessarily jump to say that Germany's still on our side. Russian rockets roll towards Polaris, which is something that has been a topic of discussion here lately, and something that I've been keeping an eye out for. It says here, Russia is moving 2 divisions of its S-400 Triumph air defense systems designed to take down enemy warplanes into neighboring Polaris to take part in military exercises, the Ministry of Defense confirmed on Friday. In a statement, officials wrote 2 divisions of the surface-to-air S-400 Triumph missile complex have completed their march to the loading station at, and I'm not even going to try to say that name, in Russia's Far East. The rockets will now be transported along railways to Polaris. According to the report, once the missiles have arrived at the location of the military exercises, Russian forces will fortify the position as part of defense training. So that's what they're saying, defense training. But I think they're mounting a defense. I really do think they are. I'm not saying that they have plans on invasion. I have no idea what they're up to, and none of us do either. But I also don't believe that they're just shipping S-400 systems either. I think there's probably certainly some S-500s, and the S-550 is the latest system that they've been working on. I did a little bit earlier I did cover the truck convoy in Canada. I didn't spend a whole long time on it. The biggest thing that you could take away from what I said is if you go to twitter.com and you put in hashtag Truckers for Freedom, you will have enough stuff to watch and read for the next couple of days. It is just unbelievable what they're doing up in Canada. So, and that's all I did. I just put in hashtag Truckers for Freedom in Twitter and kind of went down the list a little bit and showed some of the videos and stuff. Don't have any more information beyond that because honestly, I haven't really dug deep in it myself. Today is the first day that I really kind of even started watching any of the videos or paying a lot of attention to it. So that's where I would direct you, to Twitter, hashtag Truckers for Freedom. And like I say, you'll run out of time before you run out of content, I'll tell you that. Let's see. Next up, American lethal aid arrives in Ukraine, and this is what I'm talking about, this escalation that's happening. The first shipment of military aid promised to Ukraine by U.S. President Joe Biden amid Western speculation about a supposedly imminent Russian invasion of the country has been delivered to Kiev. Late on Friday, the U.S. Embassy in the Ukrainian capital posted photos on Twitter of large green-colored crates being unloaded from a cargo plane. The crates held almost 100 tons of lethal aid, including ammunition intended for the frontline defenders of Ukraine, it said. According to the embassy, the delivery was a further proof of Washington's commitment to helping Ukraine bolster its defenses in the face of growing Russian aggression. And, that's one thing. Well, I don't know. I mean, it's one thing if they're buying stuff, but it's kind of a different thing if we're giving them the stuff, which we are. That's not even hiding that it's essentially a proxy war. And to me, if conflict were to break out, and let's say that Russia didn't start it, if conflict were to break out, and say the Ukraine started it, if we keep feeding them weapons and equipment, it's not going to stay a proxy war for long. I can tell you that. Because, again, as I stated earlier, we don't have the same standing on a global scale that we once did. We aren't the shining good guys anymore. In fact, there are a lot of countries that are kind of pissed off about what happened in the Middle East. A lot of countries that, even if they aren't pissed off, they're kind of keeping a closer eye on us now and aren't so willing to kind of jump in and back us as a result of 20 years of a nightmare and then a pullout that was just absolutely horrible. Let's see. German Navy chief resigns over Putin's respect comments. Says the head of German Navy Vice Admiral K. Achim Schoenbach vacated his post on Saturday evening, just a day after saying that Crimea will never come back and that Vladimir Putin and Russia probably deserve respect. Schoenbach said Defense Minister Christine Lambrecht to relieve me of my duties with immediate effect, with the minister accepting his resignation, according to a statement cited by Reuters. Speaking at an event organized by an Indian think tank in New Delhi on Friday, the Vice Admiral dismissed as nonsense the notion that Russia was interested in having a small and tiny strip of Ukraine soil and integrating it into their country. Schoenbach went on to claim that what President Putin wanted was the West to respect Russia, adding that it is easy to give him the respect he really demands and probably also deserves, addressing the issue of Crimea, and German Navy commander opined that the peninsula is gone and will never come back. This is a fact. So, I'm not going to take sides or anything on this, but it just seems like this guy was just speaking his thoughts And it reminds me of another ranking military official, I believe you would say ranking, that gave their thoughts on, mandated medical procedures in this country, and was quickly removed. So now this guy resigned. Well, actually, so did the other guy. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. It's escaping me, but I'm sure many of you know what I'm talking about. Ukrainian general claims to know when Russia will invade. Says here in an interview with London newspaper The Times, Alexander Pavlik, a lieutenant general in the Ukrainian army, has claimed that Russia could invade Ukraine on February 20th, the day of the 2022 Winter Olympics wrap-up in Beijing. Pavlyuk described it as a date that concerns us, surmising that the Kremlin would not want to spoil the sporting event hosted by China. The Ukrainian commander went on to issue a warning to Moscow, claiming that Ukrainians were ready to tear apart Russians with their bare hands. The comments were made in the wake of Kiev publicly complaining it hasn't gotten the military aid and preventative sanctions on Russia that it wanted. Now, there has been talk that China had asked Putin to wait until the end of the Olympic Games before they invaded. Now, China, I think it was, has denied that, but who knows? Again, all we can do is report what comes out. There's no way that we can actually personally confirm this stuff. So, what's the good book say? Wars and rumors of wars. Russia responds to British coup allegations. Actually, kind of running through these fairly quick, but it's 9 o'clock and I still got the headline. The Russian Foreign Ministry has dismissed a claim by the UK government that Moscow is plotting to install a puppet government in Kiev, calling on London's Foreign Office to stop spreading nonsense and disinformation. The UK government sent a press release to media outlets on Saturday titled "Kremlin Plan to Install Pro-Russian Leadership in Ukraine Exposed." As previously reported by RT, it accused Moscow of seeking to install a more friendly government in Kiev as part of a supposed plan to invade and occupy Ukraine. You mean kind of like how the U.S. installs puppet governments? Yeah, like that. British media outlets, including the BBC and the Financial Times, dutifully published the allegations in the middle of the night, adhering to the advised embargo. Only a handful of news outlets expressed some skepticism over the claims. The Guardian acknowledged some of the confusion as the claim comes with a scant detail, while the AP conceded it was unclear what means Britain believes Russia might use. So again, wars and rumors of wars. Britain to back suspension of Russia from SWIFT, says reports. By the way, I thought the U.S. already said that was not a likelihood. So back and forth, right? British authorities are reportedly considering an opportunity to support the suspension of Russia from the SWIFT international payment system, citing a hypothetical military conflict that could erupt between Russia and Ukraine. Prime Minister Boris Johnson fears some world leaders may not appreciate the deteriorating picture on the Ukrainian border or fully comprehend the risk posed by bullying Russia, the Telegraph reports, citing sources close to the leader. It says here, over the past few months, a wide range of Western media outlets, along with the multiple U.S. officials, have been spreading speculation about an imminent Russian invasion of Ukraine. Washington and its allies threaten the Kremlin with a new round of crippling sanctions if this happens, citing the movement of Russian troops within the country's vast western territory as evidence of the plan. Moscow has consistently rejected the allegations, saying that Russia has a right to carry out military maneuvers, yada, yada, yada. We've heard that a million times. So, like I say, it was something that was being repeated like, I don't know how many times, a ton of times here in the United States, in the media here, And then another statement came, and I think might have came straight from Biden, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. We covered it, but it's been last week, which seemed like they were backing away from that. They were backing away from the idea of kicking them out of SWIFT, but they were saying, "Oh, there's other things that we can use." Let's see, and this is something to pay attention to because again. A lot of times along with conflict, it's not just like military in nature, it's preceded by financial conflict. And we're seeing that all over the world right now, including in Ukraine. It says here, Ukraine could default, an economist warns. The Ukrainian economy is facing a perilous crisis and could be on the course to default on its own debts. Kind of like other countries I know. One of Kiev's top economists has cautioned after alarms were raised over the country's GDP remaining the lowest in Europe. So, yeah, there's a lot of nations in that shape right now. We're one of them. Russia replies to U.S. disinformation claims. Another sip here. Starting to run dry. Well, if I don't try to make it through this show, may not be so dry. Let's see. Russia. No, I'm fine. Believe me, if I had to go that bad, I would just say hang on and I would go. Russia replies to U.S. disinformation claims. I'm not that damn professional. I don't know what you expect. Documents published from Washington on Thursday alleging the Kremlin has created an ecosystem of propaganda are an attempt to incriminate the Russian authorities, the country's ambassador in Washington has claimed. In a comment posted on Facebook, don't you love how they communicate now? Facebook, Twitter, it's amazing. Ambassador Anatoly Antonov said the U.S. allegations were baseless. On Thursday, the U.S. State Department published a series of articles relating the so-called Russian disinformation. In one of them headlined 5 persistent disinformation narratives. The narratives listed include historical revisionism and the promotion of the idea that Western civilization is collapsing. It also accused Russia of portraying itself as an innocent victim and playing the Russophobia card anytime the Kremlin is criticized. So, yeah, again, a lot of propaganda coming from all sides, and this is even more of it. This is out of the Eurasian Times, an article that I just happened to run across, and it's already talking about what kind of aircraft are going to be used to deflate the Russian and Chinese air power, and they're talking about the F-22 Raptor, which is one of my very favorite planes. I love that thing. That's just like, I love it. I love planes. And then this is the F-35, and yeah, I love them. And then there's other things that have not yet been really in the forefront when it comes to new equipment. Believe me, there's new equipment had by all sides in this that have not seen the light of day yet. Believe me. So. Anyway, of course, you've got your F-15s, and it goes on. It just talks about the different air power. But the essential thing behind this is it's propaganda is what it is. It's trying to say, okay, well, they're going to use these weapons. They're going to use these weapons. And believe me, when this big war comes, there are going to be weapons appear that you never imagined possible. Because there is no country with any clue whatsoever that put all their cards on the table. And many countries, especially the major countries, have been building equipment and weapons, and they've been just coming out with technology like you wouldn't believe. Look at the technology we have. It's amazing. I mean, even with this phone, it's absolutely incredible, the technology that we have at our fingertips. No less to imagine what they have. And I'm telling you, you're going to see things that you never thought were possible. I guarantee it. And then lastly, before we get to the headlines here, this to me is a major sign. U.S. diplomats' families ordered to leave Ukraine. Says here the families of U.S. diplomats have been ordered to leave Ukraine. Now, it's in the headlines that I'll be covering. They'd come out with a prior warning that were like heavily advising U.S. citizens to get out of there, saying that, there's still time to get on commercial flights and get out of there, but more or less that they really couldn't guarantee anything beyond them getting out of there now. Now it's on a different level. The diplomats are actually ordered to leave. So, again, I'll start reading here. It says the families of U.S. diplomats have been ordered to leave Ukraine, while some embassy staffers were authorized to depart on a voluntary basis, according to an updated travel advisory that reiterated claims of a continued threat of Russian military action. There are reports Russia is planning significant military action against Ukraine, the State Department said on Sunday, adding that it authorized the voluntary departure of U.S. direct hire employees and ordered the departure of eligible family members. American citizens were once again strongly advised not to travel to Ukraine, while those already in the country were told to consider departing now using commercial or other privately available transportation options. The highest Level 4 Do Not Travel advisory for Ukraine, citing COVID and increased threats from Russia, has been in place on the Department of State website for more than a month. The U.S. had previously warned its citizens that they should not anticipate that there will be a U.S. government-sponsored evacuations should a war take place in Ukraine, suggesting that they use the available commercial flights instead. Moscow has repeatedly denied the accusations, and yada, yada, yada. Go over that for the millionth time. So yeah, that's where it's at. That's where it's at as of now. So let me go ahead. We'll get some headlines out of the way so I can get out of here. And there's no such thing as it being an easy night tonight, but it is what it is. Let me have a sip because it's part of the contract. Right, sip, a couple vapes. I know I saw it in there, right? I've got the pen right here just in case. The pen to write it in the contract if I have to. I'll write that sucker right now. Give me a piece of copy paper. Huh? Write up that contract. All right. Who's going to fire me, right? Let's see. U.S. diplomats... Oh, I covered that. We're done. We're done with that. Quit. Get out of there. All right. So we're starting with Friday's news, obviously, as we always do on Sunday night. And I will do my best to not repeat any of the 4 billion headlines that I've already covered. So, Russia responds to NATO's space policy. New Russian hypersonic missiles set for delivery. So they're like already pushing them out. We're still trying to get one to work. At least from what we know. Again, like I said, there's technology. This is my opinion. When it comes to missiles, to me missiles are old news. To me missiles are like us throwing rocks at one another and beating each other with sticks at this point. Because they have so much technology when it comes to directed energy weapons and all sorts of goodies that missiles really, in my opinion, aren't even impressive anymore. But, we'll play the game, right? U.S. sanctions anti-NATO Ukrainian politicians. Death Star Moon could be another place hosting life. Okay. U.S. nearly wiped out tens of thousands of civilians with dam strike in Syria, says New York Times. I mean, not a dam strike, but a dam strike. It was a dam. It was a dam. And they struck it. Schools defied Johnson's COVID relaxations. Lavrov and Blinken meet for crunch Russia-U.S. talks in Geneva. UK state pension in shameful shambles, says a report. Tongue twister. Human eyes hold key to predicting imminent death, says a study. Let me look into your eyes. You're gonna die. 17 dead as rural community flattened. That was Ghana. And yeah, that was crazy, by the way. A motorcycle struck a truck that was full of explosives and caused that. Crazy. World's longest high-speed railway network to get longer still. Tech giant pulls drag queen ad after backlash. That was an ad in Singapore. Hidden cameras found in locker room of top German women's handball team. Milestone surgery sees pig kidneys transplanted into a human. Now, last week we told you about a first time of a pig's heart transplanted into a human. Now we get a story of a pig's kidneys. So I think, like I said, with the heart, I think it's amazing and stuff, but I'm pretty sure that the Torah would probably forbid that. Biden dismisses stupid question on Ukraine. Stranded dog saved with a sausage drone. That's right, a sausage drone. They just dangled a sausage from the drone and got the dog to follow it. So it wasn't really a drone made of sausage, which is also against the Torah. But anyway, well, anything, swine. I'm joking. Least popular world leader revealed. Biden? No, it's not Biden. You would think so, but it's Boris Johnson. At least that's the claim from this article. I honestly really think it's Biden. U.S. ready to respond to Russia's NATO proposals, says Lavrov. And again, we're on Friday's news. So, Bezos-backed anti-aging project to be headed by GSK Boffin. U.S. won't do deal with Russia over Ukraine joining NATO, says Blinken. School district sorry for unacceptable way student was treated. Another case of, and this happened in Pennsylvania, where a teacher was taping a mask to the student's face. Russia's ban on crypto, what it means in reality. Let's see, man accused of posing as St. Louis County health inspector performing unauthorized COVID-19 test. This is crazy, folks. So if you ever, like, either at where you work or at your home or wherever, get people coming to your door and, yeah, send them on their way. Money flowing out of favorite pandemic-era stocks. Moscow blasts CNN over questions about Russian invasion of Ukraine. China develops world's largest bionic robot, says state media. COVID outbreak at Antarctic base prompts evacuation. University probed over anti-LGBTQ policies. Average gas price may hit $4 per gallon in 2022. Yeah, I would say probably expect it, and unfortunately, probably even higher. We're in a bad way. We are in a really, really bad way. Southern Prepper 1 has been putting out videos last 3 days, I guess, on Walmarts, different Walmarts in his area. So now I believe there's been 3 different Walmarts, because the first 2 videos he did, and then the third video his son did, Southern Prepper 2, and it's incredible. Oh, and I've got more to tell you on that. So 3 different Walmarts there. I believe he's in South Carolina. 3 different Walmarts. I mean, look like they're just cleaned out, and so his daughter-in-law had asked an employee, "Hey, what gives?" And the same old when it comes to this stuff. We're just not getting the stuff, Well, we got our shopping done today. And, yeah, I know, we normally do it much earlier in the month, but we didn't get it till today. And I had a heck of a time even ordering, because we do pickup, right? We shop online, and then we pick it up. Well, I had a heck of a time getting chicken, frozen chicken. That's one of the things that we make. And so I even had to, I had to buy some more expensive cuts of chicken because they were the only ones that were in stock on the website. And I was shocked, but there was only one item that was substituted, and it happened to be that chicken. And they wound up even giving us even more expensive cuts for the same price, which works out for us. But chicken is really hard to come by, it would seem. And then, like I had said, I think I had said, when I tried getting chips, when I tried placing chips for the order, cause just getting some tortilla chips, I had them in the cart, right? And before I could check out, they went out of stock. And I'm talking about on the website. I'm not talking about in the store here. I'm talking about the all of Walmart website, because those got shipped to us. FedEx came by today and dropped off a couple of boxes. The chips were one of the things. So like I say, and that was one of the things that was going to be shipped, was the chips. And before I could check out, they were already out of stock. So things are not doing good. They are not doing good. Pardon me. EU back in Afghanistan after Taliban takeover. Still on Friday's news. Ukrainian troops... Oh, I didn't finish what I was saying. Jen said that, well, there's two things. We actually had a... hang on a minute here. Let me bring it up. Pull my head out of my butt. Find the link here. We actually had a notice from our local Walmart here, and I'm going to bring it up so you can see it. And this is what they said at our local Walmart here on Friday is when they put this out. Starting tomorrow, which would have been Saturday, your Highland Walmart will be reducing the store hours from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. Also, the ACC, which is the car care center, the bakery and deli will be closing at 5 p.m. Sorry for any inconvenience. Now, in the comments, one of the employees had cited that many of them are out sick due to the vid, right? Well, I also believe, when they brought the order out to Jen, they also stated that the trucks, how was it was worded? They were not as full or something to that effect. So, yeah, I mean, there's a serious problem going on, and I really hope people's been putting back food and supplies. I really do, because I do not see this getting any better. Okay, continuing on. Still on Friday's news, Ukrainian troops near Crimea for missile launches. Developers explain why Sputnik 5 seems to be better at tackling Omicron than Pfizer. Their claims, not mine. Metaverse rave flops miserably, witnesses claim. Good. Russian magazine branded foreign agent because it has Western subscribers. Oh, that's not very fair. U.S. demands Russia prove it won't invade Ukraine. I really don't know how they're going to do that. U.S. congressman's home raided by the FBI. This would be, I don't know if this is correct, but Henry Seller. I don't know how you say his last name. And somehow something to do with financial matters linked to Azerbaijan. So, I have no idea. U.S. brings air piracy charges against 4 Belarusian nationals. Let's see. Effect from one of the world's few carbon capturing plants are measured. Sorry, I've been getting notifications like crazy all evening. Date set for court ruling on Assange extradition appeal. A close Navalny ally claims to have found spy inside opposition organization. U.S. Senate hawks want World War II-style weapons aid program for Ukraine. UK sends 30 elite soldiers to Ukraine amid fears of war with Russia, says the media. So now you've got the Ukraine sending these specialists there. You already know the United States has sent specialists there. Like I say, it's getting ready to go down. Russia-U.S. security talks close with both sides citing major differences. Again, this is Friday's news. Billionaire accused of hate and sedition faces boycott. Twitter suspends accounts backing ex-dictator's son. Ukraine issues advice to its Olympic athletes about Russian rivals, says the media. Ex-pope to be investigated over failure to prevent sexual abuse. Imagine that. I wanted to make sure I showed you this story. St. Louis County McDonald's worker shot over French fry discount, police say. Yeah, literally somebody was shot over a French fry discount. It's crazy. Pardon me, it's crazy. I mean, and it's going to continue to get crazier. Let's see. K-drama accused of animal cruelty. Hamsters killed over COVID resurrected in protest. Yeah. When they say resurrected, they're talking about with NFT, all that crazy stuff. I don't understand it, and to be honest, I don't want to. Arrest warrants considered acceptable ID to fly. Oh, yeah, what? Huh? What'd he say? Oh, no, not for you. No. If you're an American citizen, no, not for you. You got to have your real ID compliant identification card or passport in order to fly. So who's this talking about? Illegal immigrants. Illegal immigrants, right? They can use their arrest warrants to fly. Anything wrong with that picture? Biden federal judge nominees pro-Chevron work is questioned. Court deals Biden another blow on vaccine mandates. Neener. Mom promises to resist school mask mandate with guns loaded. Yeah, it's probably not a real good idea, but... Walking Ned Devine meets Weekend at Bernie's in bizarre attempt to collect money. Yeah, so they went to go collect his pension, right? A dead guy's pension. And so two people literally walked in holding this dead person up to collect the pension check. It really happened. Ukrainian city comments on Russian occupation fears cited by Zelensky. Still on Friday's news. U.S. sending Russian weapons to Ukraine? Huh? Hundreds injured and killed in Saudi strikes. That was the one that I talked about earlier, where they found, or allegedly found, fragments of a Raytheon munition. German Chancellor snubs Joe Biden's Ukraine-themed invite, says reports. More Marines purged for refusing the COVID jab. Man kills parents who discovered he faked SpaceX job offer. And we covered this right after he killed his parents. As I recall, we covered this, but, you know, all the extra information hadn't come out yet. U.S. carrier heads to surprise... Oh, now we are to yesterday. Yay! And there was a bunch of headlines that I'll be able to skip, including that one that I didn't skip. So, hey, coffee time, right? Contract. I mean, I don't want to break the contract or nothing. I don't want to have to litigate myself in court. It's a nightmare. Have you ever dealt with that guy? Yeah. Let's see. Private space investment hits an all-time high. I'm sure no pun is intended in that. Germany warns of Russian troop Oh, I covered that. U.S. thinks it has special status, says Russia. Covered that. Oh, yeah, lab monkeys on the loose present potential infection risk. Subscribe to a channel called J-Drone, and because he flies drones, right? And so he had just took this trip, not a very successful trip, down to Florida, in which he wound up on a Greyhound bus coming back to Pennsylvania. Well, anyway, I'm not laughing at the guy's misfortune, but he just went through all this. He drove I guess he had a Kia that he drove down to Florida. Apparently the engine blew up down in Florida, and so he had to take a Greyhound all the way back, right? And after having a rather long layover waiting for getting on his next bus, he finally gets on his next bus, and he's on the home stretch, right? And the bus gets stuck. So while he was live streaming during the bus being stuck, his wife had came into the chat and talked about this story. So that's how I initially knew about it, that these lab monkeys were on the loose, and there were 3 of them that got loose, and apparently the following morning there was only 1 that was unaccounted for, and then it turns up that they're likely infected with something. Lots of movies made like this, right? And many other things. I don't know, Lyme disease. It's how this stuff happens. U.S. looking for ways to get extra cash out of EU energy crisis, says reports. Ukrainian opposition slams U.S. sanctions. Chocolate wrappers rankle religious sentiments. Okay. Telegram CEO assesses impact of Russia's proposal to ban crypto. Champagne sales popped in 2021. So apparently champagne sales were way up. And I would even go further to say that a lot of alcohol sales have been way up. That's the way things happen. As things get more and more tense, alcohol sales go up. But the canary in the coal mine is when those alcohol sales go away. That's what you have to watch for. That's when you know there's absolute financial turmoil, is after those alcohol sales spike and then jump off a cliff. So watch out for that. I think you're probably going to see that pretty soon here. Instagram and Snapchat sued over alleged role in girl suicide. UK to accuse Russia of working to install pro-Moscow leader in Ukraine, says a leak. UK government seeks to spike highly sensitive BBC spy story, says reports. Covered that one. Bitcoin drops 50% of its value. Again, this is yesterday, the news I put out yesterday. NFL star Rodgers hits out at Biden amid vaccine row. Let's see. Ex-U.S. soldiers with alleged neo-Nazi links arrive at Ukrainian front line. You mean mercenaries? Withholding vaccine. Oh, I already covered that. Russia not insisting on Ukraine sphere of influence, says Lavrov. Body found in hunt for missing transatlantic rower. Apparently this guy's 75 years old. It's not the first time he's participated in adventures like this. Unfortunately, it will be his last time. So I don't know whatever turned up about this. When I read the article, it said the latest that they knew of, he had to start using a hand desalinator or something. Don't know what happened to his other equipment that he used for desalinating the water, but apparently something happened to that. So he said he was going to have to switch over to the hand unit, and he commented about the extra energy it was going to use up. But he affirmed to everybody that he was okay, that everything was okay. And again, I don't know what they know now. I'm sure they do know more. I don't honestly know what that is. Johnson's government accused of threatening a dozen rebel Tory MPs. U.S. State Department comments on Ukraine evacuation reports. Let's see, covered that. The Times and Bloomberg tie Russian invasion to Beijing. COVID certificates could soon be dropped by wealthy nation. That would be Switzerland. Let's see. This is another story about the lab monkeys. Pfizer CEO paints ideal future of COVID vaccination. You know what that ideal future is? Oh, that you won't need a booster after booster after booster. You just need one a year. Just one a year. School children told cloth mask no longer good enough. These are children in Los Angeles. You know, we were saying the cloth masks weren't good enough 2 years ago. Israel insists it only legally spies on its citizens. Well, of course. Of course you only legally spy on your citizens. It's like the United States only legally spies on its citizens. Why? Because you made it legal? Funny how that works. Thousands of unvaccinated NHS staff may be fired later than expected. Russia's gold and foreign currency reserves smash historic high. Oh, we're on today's news. Sorry. Yeah, today's news would have started on the legal spying on citizens. Secret of microwave weapons targeting U.S. diplomats revealed. So apparently, this whole Havana syndrome thing, that's what this is referring to. Prime Minister cancels wedding due to Omicron curves. I mean, that's unusual because, others over there are having huge parties. Let's see. Covered that. Study reveals which alcoholic drink is best at preventing COVID. Whatever. I don't drink any of them, so. EU signals it's on an energy buying spree. You think? Britain to back suspension of Russia from SWIFT. Oh, I read that one, sorry. American crypto industry racks up over $2 billion in fines. UN predicts when global tourism will get back to normal. Covered that one. Covered that one. That one. EU pins soaring gas prices on geopolitics. Duh. Energy storage could emerge as the hottest market in 2022. I would say that energy storage has probably been the hottest market for a while now. Just release the technology, yo. It's, I like the technology we have, but I know we have the capability to do much better and without sending little kids down into mines to get the materials. Man fights off bear in second Florida attack. So I would suggest that guy, stays out of the woods from now on. And if you're on Main Street of, Tampa and you get bears chasing you, just give up, man. Because otherwise, stay out of the woods. Russia rejects U.S. accusations of disinformation. I think I read that one. Potential candidate to replace Zelensky has question for Mr. Bean. Ukraine hands out corporate war advice. Dozens killed in fighting after ISIS attack on prison, says reports. University explains why words like lame and man are problematic. What a lame man. Ukraine under threat from aggressor, says boxing icon Klitschko. Yeah, I'm sure I got that way wrong, but it was kind of fun to try to say. Let's see. Covered those. EU demands release of human rights activist mom. Covered that one. Ukraine must do one big thing before it can be allowed into NATO, says a bloc member. Link between internet speed and political activism is revealed. Who'd have thunk it? Xi did not ask Putin not to invade Ukraine during the Olympics, says Chinese officials. This is what I was talking about. There was rumors of that going around. None of us know whether it's true or not. Let's see. EU Borrell's reacts to his damaged office after protester attack. Fauci predicts a bit more pain and suffering for the unvaccinated. Oh, of course you do. Of course you do, Mr. Fakey. Iran regains UN voting rights. Covered that one. I think we're getting close. U.S. draws down Ukraine embassy present as war fears mount. That's actually the same as the other one that I covered. Let's see. Covered that. Chinese Air Force alarms Taiwan with massive flyby. And lastly, FBI raids COVID testing company in fraud probe. So that's, what do you think? What do you think that might be? I mean, at least, let's throw a dart on the dartboard. Give me the state. Illinois. Happened in Rolling Meadows, Illinois. So, yeah. Up to the usual over here. Anyway, that is the news. That is the headlines. I'm getting out of here before any more pop up because, damn yo. Anyway, God willing, we'll be back tomorrow. We'll do it all again. Hope to see you then. As always, God bless you. We love you. Be one with your spirit. And shalom.